Hey, my dear YouTube family. At the moment, we are at Alicante Airport waiting for a flight to one of the most beautiful places on our planet. I think you already know where I'm flying to as you saw the cover of this video, but believe me, this place is really magical. And yeah, I'm talking about Lanzarote Island. If you ever heard about this place, my congratulations, because I found out about it only a year ago. But why I decided to go there is because sometimes when I have free time, I check Ryanair website for cheap flights. And in March, I got an email with sales announcement. So I saw that tickets to Lanzarote were quite cheap. There and back cost 30 euros, just 30 euros really. So in a few hours I had a trip bought and planned, and this was my best decision ever. While I was waiting for boarding to start, I decided to take a walk and check shops in duty free. And finally I saw that the boarding started. We had full plane. As I remember, Ryanair fly to Lanzarote from Alicante only 2 times a week. The flight was okay, but the landing was rough. This happened because at this time of the year there are very strong winds on Canary Islands. One woman even screamed. I believe she had a fear of flying. And finally, after 2.5 hours, we are on the island. We rented a car on Top Car website, and for 5 days I believe we paid about 170 euros with full insurance. Also, a life hack: if you fly with Ryanair, a few days before the flight, they will send you a discount code for car rent. The same thing is about booking.com. They also provide a discount on cars. We took a car and headed to the grocery shop to buy us food for the next few days. As we rented a flat on Booking, we decided to have breakfasts and dinners at home. I will show our accommodation in a few seconds later, but now just look, I found spaghetti with lemon and truffles tastes. Have you seen this before? Let me know that in comments. And here's our flat. 4 nights for 4 people costed us 450 euros. I believe it's quite cheap as it is situated in the center of Arrecife, which is the capital of the island. And it is huge. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 beautiful terrace, plus we got welcome drinks. Here you can see the wonderful terrace. It's windy there at the moment, really windy. I can say that the view is great, but anyway, the terrace is really beautiful. It has a TV. Bedrooms are really spacious and beds were comfortable. Bathroom were clean. And And this is my favorite bathroom because it has a bath and it's very spacious and light. Right after a quick lunch break, we headed to Cezar Manrique Foundation Museum, which is the house of the main man of this island, whose name is Cezar Manrique. He was an artist, designer, and sculptor. His works are amazing. I can tell you that this house can definitely blow your mind. Entrance here costs 10 euros. After you pay it, you get into the territory of a garden with big cactuses, palms, and interesting decorative elements. My eyes didn't know where to look. My mom made a lot of photos in this garden, me also. Now we are coming to the entrance. Here you can see that the whole house is built in cooled lava. It looks so unusual, not like a living space. But when you go inside, rooms on the first level look really simple. Here is the photo of parties that Cezar made in this house in 80s. I would dream to stay here if it was an Airbnb. This is Cezar in one of these rooms. And the most interesting part of this house is on the lower level. You go down and enter something like a cave. Just look at this stunning interior. I understand now why he had so many friends. After going through this tunnel, you get into the best part of this house. This is a garden with a barbecue, eating area, and of course a pool. It feels like the whole place is made with love and is smart structured. Because this pool area is on a lower level, here is not that windy. When we go through the last tunnel, we get to one more room with a tree and cute lemon color sofas. I want this kind of window in my house with cactuses and right inside lava. The backyard was spacious. On the whole island, these gender toilet signs are always cute. After 2 hours spent in this museum, we finally came back to our car and headed to the highest point of Lanzarote. But on the way to it, we had to stop a few times. First time because we saw a really unusual place, something like a cave where the soil was like lava mixed with a bit of gold. We had to walk there from our car for about 3 minutes, and when we entered inside, it felt like we are in some kind of a secret base or in the X-Files series. Sorry, this is my hair, it was really windy. The next stop was even better. A few weeks before our trip, I was checking Google Maps and saw some kind of a canyon. Name of this place is the Stratified City, and it really looks like a small version of the Grand Canyon. These strange forms look really cool on photos. There wasn't a lot of people, so we walked through the whole territory. And finally, after a long road that in the end was very hard, we came to the final place of today's itinerary. You see now Lanzarote from its highest point of 672 meters. I think it was the most cosmic view in my life. Good morning from day 2 on Canary Islands. The weather is nice, sunny, but windy of course. We are having a breakfast and beginning the day. I took a quick video of Arrecife streets so you don't think that there is no modern life. Here's a lot of shops, restaurants and offices. Today's trip, we decided to start with no doubt one of the most beautiful and unusual homes of the world. This landmark is situated in a small town called Lanzarote. Entrance to this place costs 15 euros and it is called Lagomar Museum. This house was designed by Cezar Manrique for Sam Benedy, who was British. Now we are walking through the first hall with African decorative elements and a huge arc with a stunning view to the inner garden. Then you go down to this pool and enjoy calm atmosphere. That's the most Instagrammable point. You walk through this tunnel, enjoy the main view one more time, and go upstairs to the bar. It's open in the evenings, but I think it's quite small but has its own charm. With next steps, you get into the narrow corridor. On the left side there is a museum part, which I'll show later. And by another path you can come back to the pool by walking these cute stones. Like in a fairy tale. This is the interior part of this house. White walls, wooden elements, a bit minimalistic, I think. We spent about 2 hours in Lagomar Museum and headed to north. Our plan was to see legendary Jameos del Agua, but when we arrived, the parking was full of tourists. There was no space to park the car. So we thought, okay, we're going to explore this part of the island. I was shocked by soil on both sides of the road we were driving. It looked like huge stones, but in reality it was a clinker called lava. And my interest also took these vineyards, where trees were surrounded by stones to protect them from winds. And now hold on, this place gives wow effect, so I need to explain it first. We're at a café now. Entrance here cost €5. Why? Because it's not a usual cafe where you go every day. This is a cafe with observation deck. So you enter and see this. You can also check the roof and take photos from even a higher level. But again, it's very windy there. This place is in my top 3 best Lanzarote attractions. The evening was closer and closer, which meant we had to be driving to our Airbnb in Arrecife. But we had in mind one more place. I'm talking about a magnificent beach near La Caleta town. It's very wide and full of surfers practicing on large waves. The air was fresh and it smelled so good. Some people came here to make a vibing photo shoot. The third day of our trip, we decided to devote to the southern part of Lanzarote. As Arrecife is situated right on the coast in the middle of the island, it was easier for us to spend each day on certain part of the island. We were still a bit sleepy and were talking when we saw camels near the road. Of course, we had to stop and find out what was that. I checked Google Maps and saw that we're on a camel farm. I read that you can rent a tour where a camel rides you up to the volcano. These donkeys were so cute. A few minutes later, we came back to the car and continued our ride. The landscapes were very unusual. I saw a lot of volcanoes with small white towns between them. 30 minutes later, we arrived to Playa Blanca. All pack-ins were full, so we stopped near a nice hotel. It had a direct path to a nice beach. For me, it felt like we're in California. The water was crystal blue. Everyone spoke English. After enjoying the views of Atlantic Ocean, we decided to check the place that was not too far away. On Google Maps, it's named Salinas de Janubio. This is a touristic place with pools of salted water. Here you can buy salt and some souvenirs. We didn't spend much time there. For me, it was not a very interesting place. So we decided to come back to our car and drive to one of the most iconic places on the island. During the road we met a lot of interesting volcans, but sadly we couldn't find direct paths to get on top of them. And after 30 minutes we arrived to the attraction called Lago Verde. This is a lake with a very unusual color. I would call it poisonous green. And it's very interesting that this lake is situated right on the black beach. This looks so unrealistic. My warning, I would come in the morning or in the evening, as it's a very touristic place and tourists come here by groups on a bus. Also, one important thing, you cannot go down to come closer to see the lake and swim in it, but there is a normal beach on the other side, so you can try volcanic water there. It was already a lunchtime and I saw a nice restaurant in the village where we were at that moment. We were so hungry. I took a seafood soup, others took chicken with fries. I can definitely say that this was the best soup in my life. We loved this restaurant so much. Prices were okay, plus there were amazing views to the ocean. After our amazing lunch, we thought that it's better to come back to the centric part of Lanzarote. We chose another road and it was fully surrounded by this kind of soil / cold lava. And also some parts looked like we're watching the ocean floor full of corals. After about 40 minutes, we were close to a small but very popular town called Puerto del Carmen. It's a place where are a lot of all-inclusive hotels, bars, souvenir kiosks. So, in general, it's the most touristic and party point on Lanzarote. We decided to take a walk and enjoy these vibes. It was such a nice stop. And right between this small town, Puerto del Carmen, and the capital, Arrecife, there is one very cool attraction. You park your car, walk by the embankment, and right over your head, planes land very low. It's very noisy and a little scary, but so cool. This was the perfect way to end our day. And now comes the morning of our fourth day on Lanzarote Island. We woke up early as there was an unfinished mission that we couldn't ignore. As you remember, on the second day we didn't get to Jamás del Agua, so its time has come. Entrance ticket costs 10 euros. Right the moment you enter, you already feel the vibe. You go down the stairs to the restaurant, a calm music is playing. But even at 10 a.m. there are already a lot of tourists. From the restaurant you go deeper into a cave. The path is narrow, so it can be a small problem. And now you're near a lake with deep blue color. It was very dark in this cave, my camera couldn't record normally, sorry. I didn't know this before, but in this water live small albino crabs, so of course you cannot swim there. You can see these crabs closer at another side of the lake. I'll show you now. And here they are, so tiny. On a bit upper level, we found a nice bar with seats throughout the cave. Sadly, it was closed. We took a quick break and thought we were leaving Ramos del Agua already, but it was only a beginning. Suddenly I saw one more lake and even more beautiful. Everyone was taking photos around it. I heard that earlier people could swim in it, but it was a long time ago when there were not so many tourists. And now it is a pearl of this place. Near it I saw entrance to one more cave. It was an assembly hall. I spent there 5 minutes to get a break from intense sun and headed to exit, as I thought. But again, it was not the end. On the high level of this attraction, there is a museum. Its idea is to show tourists how volcans explode, and what I liked most, in this museum they draw an analogy between Lanzarote and Mars. There were a lot of activities, I loved it really much. We were even on a spaceship that was exploring Mars.
Our mission is the touchdown at the foot of Olympus Mons. The views, even if it's only for a short while. Olympus Mons is so tall and wide that it is impossible.
I recommend Ramos del Agua on 100%. In total we spent there about 3 hours. So I bought a few souvenirs and came to say bye to this amazing view. I had one more place saved in my must-visit list. It is a house where Cezar Manrique lived his last years. It is a nice house where entrance costs 15 euros. For me, this place is an interior inspiration. Each room was full of interesting elements. I could spend there hours just studying soap or magazines. I would love to live in such a beautiful and cozy home. After such intense excursions and such an intense sun, we decided to take a break at our Airbnb and go out in the evening for a walk in Arrecife. Our flat was right in historical city center. In 5 minutes we were already standing on the embankment, looking on a bridge with a small castle on the other side. Of course, it was windy, but so fresh. Air near the ocean is the best. Welcome to our last day on Lanzarote. We've come to a unique place called Jardín de Cactus, which is translated as the Cactus Garden. It is situated more on the northern part of the island, and entrance here costs just 5 euros. This place is full of various types of cactuses. In the opposite to the entrance side, you can see a cute meal house. It's allowed to enter and check what's inside. We still had a few hours left till our flight, and there was one more attraction left that no one could ignore. This is Timanfaya National Park. As you understood, Lanzarote is full of volcans, but here is situated the main volcan called Timanfaya. You buy a ticket and on your car, drive to the parking square on the top. There you get into the bus and your excursion begins. You are at a very epicenter of events that happened 200 years ago. Back then, the Timanfaya volcano erupted and it was a huge event that affected the entire Canary Islands. You listen to this story in different languages with sometimes very scary music while you're driven by narrow paths between these iconic views. When you're back at that square, you can check the famous restaurant named El Diablo or Devil and watch an interesting show. Special stuff shows you that Timanfaya is not sleeping and is very hot. And this is the end of our trip. It was a very cool experience and all of us would love to come back and explore more of Lanzarote. Thank you very much for watching this vlog. Please subscribe on my channel for more interesting trips and also put a like on this video because this will help me a lot. See you soon!